Massachusetts Amherst is reversing course on a controversial policy that would have restricted Iranian students from enrolling in its science and engineering programs. Now, the school had said it was trying to follow a 2012 law that prevents Iranian students in America from learning about nuclear technology while in this country. But after facing criticism, the university now says they will look at students on a case-by-case basis before approving their coursework. So let's talk about this. I'm joined by Nariman Mostafavi. He's an Iranian student here in the United States, and he's studying at the University of Massachusetts at Amherst. He's also a member of the Iranian Graduate Student Association at UMass. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate your being here. So, UMass says it's going to look at these students' curriculum on a case-by-case basis. What do you suppose it means by that?
Well, it's not stated clearly in the new policy that is released by UMass, and UMass Amherst has said that they will be taking a less restrictive policy. That our question is basically why any restrictions at all, because there has been no change in the law since 2012, and why all of a sudden we need a new policy at UMass.
Well, I think it's probably in part because of Iran and the alleged development of nuclear weapons there and the controversy that's going on there. And some Americans might wonder why the United States is allowing Iranian students to study, you know, things that might help build a nuclear weapon here in the United States anyway. Can you address that?
I think that's a political issue, and when it comes to politics, we might disagree on the matter, and some people might be pro-sanctions, some against it. Even the Iranian community is divided on the issue of sanctions. But here we're talking about the right to education, and I think we shouldn't be disagreeing on rights and basic rights.
Well, how would you respond to some Americans who might say it's dangerous to allow Iranian students in the United States to learn such things to bring back to Iran?
First of all, Iranian students have been coming to the United States for years, and they have been doing a great job in establishing a ground for communication between the two nations of Iran and America. And Iranian students have always been like advocating for change in Iran, and they're not supporting everything that's happening by the government. Like I want to say, even in the long-established democracies, you cannot hold citizens responsible for the actions of the governments. And we all know that Iran is not a democracy, and the students actually have been always in the front line of advocating change and being the messengers of change. And it's not a great move to deprive people who are trying to improve their lives and improve the situation in Iran from the right to education and from the right to learn and change their futures.
But that said, are there courses today that you cannot take at UMass?
I don't think currently there are any courses that I cannot take, but it has never occurred to me.
Okay, and there was a huge outcry against this policy that the university put into place, and you, the students, do you think you were successful? I'm sure you're pretty happy about the reversal, right?
We really appreciate that the university actually revised the policy, that I wish it had been entirely reversed. But point is, and we really we want to thank our faculty and the UMass community who supported us in taking our voice out there. And we should also give UMass credit for hearing the voice of the community and revising the policy. And but we want to make sure that the process of admitting Iranian students to UMass will be transparent, and students will always be able to get into UMass based upon their merits. For us, or for me personally, it's not an Iranian issue, it's a UMass issue. I care about my school, I care about UMass, and it's not even easy for me to criticize UMass because it's my community, and UMass's reputation is my reputation. So I'm glad that this policy has been revised for now, and I hope it will be reversed, because this school I applied to was is an equal opportunity institution that people can get into based on their merits.
All right, thank you so much for being with me, Nariman Mostafavi. I appreciate it. And I do want to read a statement from UMass right now, just in fairness. Quote, "We have always believed that excluding students from admission conflicts with our institutional values and principles. It is now clear after further consultation and deliberation that we can adopt a less restrictive policy," end quote. Still to come at the newsroom. 6 months after Michael Brown